Tonight, some people send Zod and offer to attend a really weird prophecy conference. So Zod and Dan take a look at the free DVD they offer. This is a very special prophetic Zadanza.
Popping bottles in the ice like a blizzard. When we drink, we do it right, getting slizzard. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Zadanza. That's the lyrics to the song "Like a G6." I just randomly thought about it and pulled it up. That came out in like 2010, and it feels so much older than that. That's crazy. Anyway, nothing to do with the show. Hi, it's Odd.
It is a thing I am not at all aware of, and I did not know what you were doing when you did that.
I just thought, what's a funny thing to say at the beginning of the show? And like a G6 came to mind. One of their band members got shot, and I think that's why I think they literally died, and I think that's why they stopped making music. So that was really cool. But hey, everybody, I'm Objectively Dan. That's Prophet is Odd. This is a danza. And we're gonna talk about some really fun stuff. I want to sing the Guess Who Got a Letter song, but that might be copyrighted. But anyway, Zod's been getting some mail, right, Zod?
I have. For one thing, one of our viewers has sent me some stuff, which I look forward to doing later. We're going to keep it a surprise for now, but we're going to have an episode where we go over some of the really weird stuff that I got in the mail. The people sending it weren't being weird. They were just sending me weird Christian products that for some reason exist. So we're going to unpack those and look at them at a later date. But today we have a very packed show, so we need to dive straight into all this. Last week, I got something in the mail. I'm actually going to bring it up on screen because we got to dive straight into this. It looked like this on the front cover. Revelation Today, Hope for Humanity.
Yes.
It begins April 5, live in Anchorage, Alaska. I technically could go to this thing. I'm not so sure that I want to spend all the time sitting through this, though. My wife's like, you should go to that, make it a whole thing. I'm like, I'll go if you go. And she goes,
Yeah. Yeah. Unless you can record something out of it. I don't know if it'd be worth it.
Yeah. It sounds spectacularly weird, but sitting through the stupid thing, I think would not be as exciting.
Well, the best events always come to me unsolicited through the mail, I find. So I don't know. Maybe it'd be worth checking out. But I certainly can't go.
Let's take another look at this thing. You can fly to Alaska.
I guess I could. But why?
Here's the back cover of it. A free event for the whole community. Free admission, free parking, free study materials. This is located at 6,000 O'Malley, which is kind of a fanciest part of town. It looks like it's near a park or something. I don't know exactly where that's at. And you can attend in the evenings. They offer you a free nightly meal at 6:30. So
nice.
And at least I go there and eat. One thing, considering this is like a weird prophecy of the world today thing, probably a little conspiracy minded and weird, is that there is a child's version of this.
Yeah.
Buried treasure. Dig deep into God's word.
Yeah.
Yes, Jason. They're reaching out to me about my soul's extended warranty.
That font, first of all, that is the perfect VBS font right there. Like that is, you could have faked that and I would have said that's a spot on parody. But yeah, of course that exists, right? Buried treasure, dig deep into God's word. Like it's so perfect. Honestly, it's S tier VBS title right there.
Yeah. Actually, you made me want to look this up. I looked up Buried Treasure VBS, but actually there's a website about the buried treasure thing.
Did you find? Okay, that's what I was going to ask you next. Next is, did you look into the children's program? Because Are pirates involved maybe in this buried treasure? Maybe there's some action happening, you know?
Probably.
Hmm.
Evangelism for children is an extremely important aspect of evangelism as a whole and a vital part of ministry in church. Anyway, we won't go down that whole rabbit hole,
The rabbit
but that
troll.
does exist. Yes, the rabbit
The
troll.
rabbit troll that guards the rabbit hole. I like that. Yeah,
Speaking of font, I think there are 9 different fonts used on this page.
that
That's always
yeah,
a good approach to use.
not great graphic design principles right there. You want to keep the 2, maybe 3. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening for sure.
This is as all over the place as you would expect some weird evangelistic thing to get in the mail. Now, here's
Yes,
inside once you open this thing up. A lot to
this is
unpack here.
beautiful.
We have the giant flying lion, the 3-headed creature, um, the 7-horned, 7-crowned beast in the background. You'd recognize that from Revelation.
Yes, yes. Oh man.
So, you know, and I guess it's called It Is Written. You're uncovering the prophecies of the Bible. Ancient predictions speak to today's world and to the future. So I'll be interested to see how this speaks to the world
I,
today.
I forgot about this. This is in the book of Daniel, chapter 7. Uh that there's a lion with eagle's wings in this. So that's where that thing comes from, which is kind of awesome because an eagle's wings, I don't know. First of like what's the aerodynamics of the situation here? Because you've seen those like those videos of like if human beings had wings, they'd have to be like 14 feet long or whatever. Like wow, how much bigger does that have to be for a lion to actually work? I don't know. Or does he just does he just kind of hover like magic? I don't know how the physiology works. It's kind of interesting.
I'm not sure whoever wrote the book of Daniel did either.
Yeah,
But
it's
you know,
you're right. That's one of those things too. I feel like, you ever read books or you ever see medieval architecture, not even medieval, but even just like when I was in Europe, I saw architecture in old Christian paintings and stuff, right? And there's paintings of lions in particular because there's a lot of biblical stuff. I feel like half the people that make Christian works back then that either painted or talked about lions in the Bible have never actually seen a lion. You ever notice this? Like they have like the ugliest, weirdest looking lions ever, and you can tell they probably just saw a picture of another lion. Have never actually seen one in real life. It's very bizarre how many lions are in Christian art. But anyway,
yeah, it's weird. Uh, but let's zoom in on a couple things on here.
hmm
First, about the presenters, I thought this was interesting. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but one of them, John Bradshaw, he's a host. We're going to see more of him tonight.
oh
His
lovely,
clear insights into world events as seen through the lens of Bible prophecy have been
great. I
presented on
need clear insights.
six
Oh, just what I
his
need.
his insights have been presented on 6 continents. Christians have just the
What
most weird way of bragging about their
funny?
credibility.
What? Yeah. I'm sure my YouTube videos have been played in 6 continents. That's not a big deal. Like, but I think that's a lot of people.
Yeah,
What
has
happened to
this
Anna?
guy actually
No,
traveled to
here's what'd
six
be funnier.
continents?
It'd be funnier if like one of them was Antarctica, but he just like skipped Africa or something. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that'd be funnier, but yeah. What a line.
Uh, then we have Wes Peppers. He's an associate speaker at It Is Written. He explored atheism, agnosticism, and religion to discover the meaning of life,
Wow.
as one does.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how that works for sure.
Contemplating ending it all, he skeptically searched the Bible as a final effort to find peace.
Mm.
So
Mm.
basically, he's a 2-time cancer survivor. So, if
Yeah.
that's real, good for him. But this all sounds a little sketchy. Uh, yeah. So these
I'm
people,
sorry. I don't wanna I never because names are always cultural, right? And if I knew a
Mhm.
guy named Wes Peppers in real life, I would think that that's awesome. But Wes Peppers sounds like a character you can unlock in Crazy Taxi to me. Like
Oh,
that's an
David thinks he
interesting
sounds like
name.
a DJ name.
I kinda like it. I kinda like it. Yo, this is my boy Wes Peppers. Shout out to Wes Peppers. About to come up on the mic. You know what I mean? Like I could see a situation where that'd be pretty hype, but we're talking about Christian evangelicalism, so it's not as
Yeah.
cool.
For sure, not a pornography name.
No, no, but
And by the
yeah.
way, I think John is on our left in this picture, and Wes is on the right. So these two biographies sound exactly like what you'd expect of this thing. And honestly, if you could like tell AI to write a picture of people who would put on an event like this, I'm 90% sure it would make this exact image of these guys.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I totally that's totally true, yes. If you, like, put them together, they would just make the same person again somehow. Yeah.
So I'm going to blow through this, but I wanted to zero in on what actually happens at this thing. There's 4 different nights: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. For some reason, they skip Monday and then do Tuesday. Uh, you can do Hope Prophecy in 2024, the master plan for the days ahead, the unseen enemy impacting your today and tomorrow,
Mm.
current and coming prophetic events. What happens if things don't change? And then hope for humanity when justice prevails. And then continuing topics include, Charmed by the Supernatural, the Global Power Shift, the Mark of the Beast, and the USA and Bible Prophecy.
Why
So,
do they skip Monday in this? I'm really curious. Why do you think they would do that? That's kinda
I
weird, huh?
really don't know. That is strange.
Because is this supposed to be a conference event? Like, do people stay around the area, or are you supposed to just kinda come back on your own? What
I'm pretty
happens?
sure you just show up in the evening. This is just an evening thing. So
Yeah,
I'm
just
pretty
an
sure
evening
you just
thing?
drop by after work and have dinner while you do this stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, these guys are staying up here. I don't know.
Zod,
Maybe
you gotta
on
go to
Monday
this,
they're
dude.
maybe
You
on
got
Monday they're driving down to Portage Glacier or something. I don't know, doing the tourist thing for a day. And they really want to make sure you know you're getting a free meal because they put that a few places around on this. But they also offer a free DVD called The
Ooh.
Greatest War on opening weekend. If you come on opening weekend, you'll get a free DVD,
Filmed
which,
on
you know,
location in Europe. Wow.
yeah.
Wait, wait,
Now,
about the greatest war. So that's about how learn how you can survive the greatest war of all? So wait, usually when
yep.
people talk about that, they mean like World War One, but they mean like it's the
That's
spiritual
just
war. Is that what's happening?
that's just the Great War. That's not the Greatest War.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah. That's kind of weirdly named. You should name it something else. The greatest
So I
war.
have I have actually a very special treat. Dan, you're going to be surprised to find there is a hack where you can get this DVD without showing up to the conference.
Oh no. Oh
You want to know
no.
how I did it?
How did you do it, Zod?
You just go to YouTube and type the greatest war it is written.
They just put it on. So they didn't even like unlist the video. They just had it publicly available.
That's the way this stuff always is. Like whenever Focus on the Family offers you like a free video series or something like that, it's always duplicated on YouTube these days. I mean, this stuff's all garbage, but I think they think if you're one of the suckers who's going to go to this type of thing, you're going to think you're actually getting something if they offer you a free DVD.
That's really funny. I thought you were gonna say like, oh, I like typed in like the URL and I guessed like the next, forward slash whatever the link was, but no, you just went to their, I guess, public YouTube channel. Like it wasn't even a re-upload. It was just like their regular channel. That's so weird.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's theirs.
I mean, it's a free
So
DVD. They want to give it out to people. I guess they're not hiding it, you know?
yeah, there's no reason they wouldn't share it, but I just think it's funny. Like, okay, Grandpa, go to this thing and they'll give you an actual DVD. Like, who even watches DVDs
I
anyway?
was gonna say, in the year of our Lord 2024, I don't even know anybody that has a DVD player. I don't think I
Yeah,
have a DVD player. Unless my PlayStation 4 can play DVDs. I don't know. That's
yeah. I
ridiculous.
don't even know that most people would have a place to put this. Maybe again, maybe the type of people who go to this type of thing. But I would be curious to go get it in the packaging, and I bet they actually have a URL to where you can go watch it, since most people wouldn't even be able to play the DVD anyway.
Yeah, I wonder how much it costs. Like, is it worth it to print a DVD at that point instead of just like giving out a paper with a QR code on it? Like, I feel like it's gonna significantly lower your production costs, but what do I know about running Christian dinners and prophecy events, you know? I guess there's nothing
Yeah,
else to do in Alaska. What else do you look at? You just look at the ice and the snow, and it's probably the only food for miles at this place.
yeah. To be fair, there are still people like internet access. That's a good point. Uh, but it's a
Yeah.
strange way to advertise your thing. But anyway, if any of you who want, by the way, could just scan the QR code off our screen, probably, and just see where that takes you in terms of signing up for this stupid thing.
Well, you haven't tried it yet?
No.
Oh, well, I'm gonna do it right now.
All right,
Dang.
you go ahead.
Okay, give me 1 sec here. All right. What's this website? Oh my god. Yep,
RevelationTodayEvent.com
there it
slash
is.
Anchorage.
Revelation Today, Hope for Humanity. Ancient predictions speak to today's world and to the future. This continuing series will provide answers to life's most pressing questions. The Bible outlines coming events with remarkable clarity. Find hope at Revelation Today. Don't miss a night. Wow.
So, Dan, would you like a tour of the free DVD?
Oh, you know it, dude. Dude, I'm so hyped for this. You got to wonder how, they're doing this stuff for free. It's a free
Mhm.
event. I get it. Obviously they want you to sign up for something, right? They're trying to sell you on some coursework maybe, or ask you for some donations. This is my prediction. I imagine it's going to be some Bible prophecy stuff, and then every 15 minutes there's like an ad for a course or something. Is that kind of what we're dealing with?
It is as if you watched this thing.
Damn.
There's these continual weird pauses. Well, we'll just watch. But
Okay, great.
anyway, this thing is like 30 some minutes long. So I skipped through a lot of it and I edited it down to a few clips I thought were even slightly relevant.
I think everyone
So
in the chat, you need to give a thank you to Zod because he spent 30 more minutes than most people would watching something that quite frankly would not see the light of day. And he edited it too, which means he had to watch it again to like get stuff right. Oh my gosh. Wow. Thanks, Zod. Props to
yeah,
you.
I work hard for all of you. It's just the life. I don't know what kind of comment that was. Anyway,
It's the
a
life.
surprising
It's just the
a
life,
surprise.
baby. That's funny.
Yeah, it reminds me of once my kids and I were like driving down a hill once and we saw like a group of like 4 or 5 eagles sitting in a tree. And my daughter just smiles and goes, "We are living the life."
That's awesome. It is
Let's
Alaska.
run
You
in the
don't see
family.
that shit anywhere else, That's pretty cool,
Yeah.
I gotta say.
Oh, this winter outside like across the street from the dump, you'd see like across the highway, you'd see like 20, 30 eagles all at once sitting in trees and flying around and stuff. They must just like come down for the food or something.
Oh man. Yeah, but before you go on, can I tell you something? Because you were talking about funny stuff that you don't know why you said something. Okay. I will tell you this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a lot of interviews for people before for other channels. I did an interview for a channel yesterday called Skeptic Haven. And
Hmm.
I was run on real bad sleep the night before, and the whole point is to give 3 points of advice. I know they're gonna post a video for it soon. I completely flubbed it on point 3. I don't think I've ever been more lost in my life than I was, and I was like, you sure you want me to do another take for that? Because I don't feel like I did." And they was like, "No, it was fine." So, if those of you who wanna watch that video and see, like, the worst possible version of me, that'll probably be posted to that soon, but yeah, I was like, I don't know what I said there, but apparently it was good. So there you go. Shout out to
Cool.
Skeptic Haven.
Do you know about when that comes out?
He said he's editing it now, but he didn't tell me. Probably this next week, I imagine.
Okay.
So go check that channel out.
Yeah, their I think cover image or whatever on their channel is I think it's Split Rock Lighthouse, which I think I told you when we were chatting is like just down the road from Two Harbors, Minnesota, where I was born. So I thought it was funny to see that on there.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Let's talk about winged lions, Zod. I'm ready for this. I want to know more. Give me the truth.
Yes. So a surprising amount of this is just like a guy talking about history. So the first literal 8.5 minutes are just him talking about World War I and how it started. And at the beginning of the war, someone assassinated Archduke Ferdinand and all the country's palace. You all know that stuff, probably.
Yeah.
And then he says,
Spoiler alerts for people who haven't seen World War One. You know, some people say the sequel's
uh,
better, but anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, and then there's this typical stuff about how, everyone thought it'd be glorious and it turned out to being a disaster, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
From there, it starts drifting into like weird religious stuff. And that's where we're going to start out. So this follows
Oh, yeah.
8.5 minutes. The guy just talking about World War I in Sarajevo and stuff.
And the greatest war of all began in the one place that you would never expect. It involves everyone in the world, and whether you like it or not, you're involved too. I'll tell you more in just a moment.
In Old Testament times, ancient Babylon fell. The book of Revelation says Babylon is going to fall again. Understand the fall of Babylon in Earth's last days. Receive The Fall of Babylon absolutely free. Call us at 800-253-3000.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So they don't even get to it. They just get to the end. But I guess, okay, was there footage before this? Or
Yeah, up
Okay,
before
okay.
this was up before this was the 8.5 minutes of him
That's
talking
the
about
8.5
World War
minutes.
One.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because without that context, it just kind of seems like they just jump straight into an ad. But I also want to talk. I take umbrage with saying in Old Testament times Babylon fell. It's like that's like 1,000 years. That's like over 1,000 years. You can't just say in Old Testament times. I don't know. You got to be a little more specific. I feel like. Maybe not. Maybe they're just doing a shorthand. I don't know. Just nitpicky to me. But
Yeah, it's the time frame version of saying something happened in Africa or something like that. Like,
yeah, basically. Oh man.
but yeah, we'll see them cut to these everyone like more than once. We'll just say,
I love it. Free offer. We should call them on stream and see what they'd tell us. It probably gets to a
oh
voicemail right
gosh,
now. It's like it's really late. It's probably a robo thing, or it's somebody you know.
yeah. If you want that phone number to know that your number exists, you go ahead and call them.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Well,
800-253-3000. You could write to the address on your screen or visit us online at iiwoffer.com.
I'm in the Bahamas. It's a slice of paradise, really. And as beautiful as it is, it's a place with a colorful past. Once upon a time, the Bahamas was a haven for pirates. Blackbeard sailed these waters. Pirates lived, or live, outside the law. They are lawless. And the fact is, they were thieves, murderers. This isn't a game. We still see lawlessness today. The battle is
Wow.
real. Undoubtedly, you've experienced it. You might be caught in the middle of it now. Can you see yourself in that picture doing the things that you know you should not? See yourself in that picture? You want a way out of lawlessness? You want a way out of slavery to the old life? Jesus is that way.
Okay, wait, stop. What is happening? Wait, that's not a history lesson. That was with the first two lines that came up when you Googled pirates. Like, what the heck? I didn't learn anything.
So
I
one
think
thing we're gonna see.
every 10-year-old knows that pirates broke the law. What was this a deep revel? You traveled to the Bahamas to say that? What the fuck? Why did
So
Captain Jack
this is
Sparrow turn around and give his life to Christ? What's happening in this thing, Todd? What's going on?
this is one of the great things about this. There are long strings of just talking about mundane history lessons, and you'll recognize this kind of thing if you've been exposed to like a church environment or any kind of evangelical or televangelism thing. They love to drone on about just basic information that any nerd on YouTube can talk about, and their audience sits there and thinks that they're some kind of expert, and then they veer to this weird religious take. But beyond that, what we're going to see a lot of is they'll make some mundane observation, such as pirates, break the law. And then they'll say, in the same way, can you see yourself in this picture being a lawless person?
Can you see yourself as this handsome man looking at a beer glass? What law was being broken there? He was just he looked of age. Like
He
what?
just do- But he was breaking the laws of God by drinking.
I'm so confused. So I get that there's supposed to be a veneer of historical like learning here, but nothing was learned. Like they're just saying, "Hey, did you know pirates existed in the Bahamas and they were kind of bad? Did you know there's bad people today?" That is literally all that was said. Like no new or exciting information. I'm actually speechless. I can't even believe that. That's crazy.
Any real dive into piracy, whether it was like the Caribbean piracy of that time or modern piracy or whatever, there'd be so much more that would go into the context of it and the geopolitical implications and stuff. But instead, they, like you said, they put on this big veneer of historical presentation and then just say, pirates did something against the law. In the same way, you can do things against God's law. There's a big war. What side do you want to be on?
Why did you have to go to the Bahamas to tell me that? Why did you choose pirates? You literally just could have chosen anything. You could have gone to Somalia. There's pirates there right now. Why did you go? I'm so confused. Why you could have just said literally anything. Literally anybody that's ever broken the law. Why did you choose pirates? I'm so lost. I thought we were talking about World War One. Also, what happened to that? I'm so confused.
By the way, that is far from the weirdest take that they're going to have in this video.
Fantastic,
it gets, God. That's about the most normal lesson that they're going to take from part of history.
Okay, well,
so you want to hear more?
Are you kidding me? I was born for this. I love this shit. Yes, please.
All righty, let's go.
Lawless. Watch now on It Is Written TV.
Oh,
so we're in
it was just an ad? That's it?
We went straight from Babylon to so they're meshing historical lesson or history with these little simple moralistic lessons and then straight into advertisements to go watch something else where I'm sure you're going to be prompted to start buying stuff or donating money.
Well, at least that makes a little more sense. I thought that was literally all. Okay, so there's a whole other video that they did in the Bahamas, but it's not this video. That's
probably, I guess.
Okay, all right. I was very confused. I was like, why did you go to the Bahamas just to tell me 2 sentences? That I did not understand that, but now I get it.
Also, probably not a coincidence. I just put this together just now. The kids thing is buried treasure. So, you think maybe there's a
they're going to teach kids to be
there?
Pirates and be lawless. Because the buried treasure is stolen. That's the idea. That's why you buried it, right? So you come back to it later, right? That's the whole
true.
Point? Not a great metaphor if you're against lawlessness. Like these guys.
Yeah, but you're teaching. Pirates are lawless in the adults' presentation, but across the building, kids are learning to go find the buried treasure.
Because who's burying treasure besides pirates?
Maybe the kids are going to dig up the treasure so they can track down the rightful owner and return it to them.
Yeah.
I think we're putting way more thought into their children's ministry than they did.
I think we should move on.
Thanks for joining me today on It Is Written. I'm in Sarajevo in Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is where World War I began. World War I ended in 1918, but that did not mean peace would come to Bosnia. Far from it. War is waged ostensibly to bring about or to restore peace and order. But that doesn't always happen. In fact, sometimes war brings about more war. After World War I ended, Europe inherited...
War is to bring about peace and order? Really? That's why? If we looked in the Bible and we saw all the wars that were started, like that was the reason why? I don't know about that one, Chief. Not sure about that.
Yeah, sometimes maybe you just want somebody's land or their stuff, or a situation escalates, and weird take there.
That's okay. All right. Interesting.
Inherited communism, Nazism, and fascism. And 21 years later, World War II. So where did all this begin? Where did human beings develop their penchant, their inclination for war? The most
I'm sorry. I'm a simple, humble Texan man. What's a penchant? I never heard of that. Is that a thing? You just make
I
that
think
up?
it's like an inclination towards something, I think.
Nation of penchant. Okay, maybe I'm just a humble Southern gentleman. I'm not familiar with this man's vocabulary, but I also want to pause to give a shout out to Vincent Sularito, who said, "Love you guys. Met you both. Great team." At hashtag Faithless Forum. Yes, good old Faithless Forum. Fun times. Yeah, hopefully, maybe one day we can do something like that again, but I don't think it's gonna be happening anytime soon, unfortunately.
We should throw one together called the Zadanza Extravaganza.
The Zadanza Extravaganza. Yeah, we should just we should do. How crazy would it be if, like, based on our like 100 live viewer count, we just like did a traveling tour. We're just like, yeah, we're gonna be in Chicago and we're going to LA. We're gonna try to meet everybody. That'd be so funny. We're gonna have dinners. We're gonna have free dinners and literature, free study notes for everybody. It'd be great.
I think at most of the events there would be more of us than there would be of them.
Yeah.
There would be more Dan and Zods than there would
We
be
just
other
like completely
attendees.
blow our budget on it. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It'd just be the two of us taking a food tour, and maybe occasionally someone else would show up. But
yeah,
basically,
oh, go ahead.
A penchant is basically, there's the normal English, there's the English word, but then that's basically the that's basically evangelist trying to
pension. I guess that's how you say it in French. I never heard that before. So there you go.
Or an evangelist trying to impress his really basic audience.
Maybe I could throw out a pretentious word or two as well. I won't knock him for that. But anyway, I was just curious. That's all. So now we're gonna talk about the origins of war. We I felt like this footage. It's just a static shot of him in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Like, it's just him kind of talking. It's not super interesting. I wish they had more of the actual place, but it's literally just him, standing there. So I kind of zoned out. But he talked about communism and Nazism and threw up a bunch of pictures. But instead of showing like if you're gonna say communism is bad, you at least should put, I don't know, Stalin and stuff. They threw up Karl Marx himself up there and put him in the same slide as Hitler, which is like, I don't say what you will about communism. I don't think Marx was like Hitler. Okay, like that's an interesting connection there. But I get what they're doing. They're just like trying to, that's all people know about communism. So
if you're a Christian, they all belong in the same bag. Like,
yeah,
seriously,
exactly.
if you're reading a Christian school textbook, a picture of Marx might as well be a picture of Stalin.
Yeah, that's very yeah, of course they think of it as the same thing. I know, like, ideologically, but yeah, very, very interesting. All right, let's keep going.
most surprising of places. You read about it in Revelation 12, verse 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. War began in heaven. From heaven it came to the earth, and on earth it continues.
So I just want to say one really quick thing.
Mm-hmm.
That passage is from Revelation. There's nothing that places that at the beginning of the world with the initial rebellion of the devil or anything like that. This is like an end times prophecy about a dragon. But Christians, because I think, for one, the Bible says very, very little about the devil and angels and a war against God. They project that back into the past. And also, I think that's just where it makes the most sense to them. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah. If you ever think about the lore of Satan falling from heaven and stuff, like, all that's just kind of extrapolated from Revelation, which is kind of weird. Like you said, like, it's not immediately clear that they're talking about the past. Also, Revelation is written by John of Patmos, who is just a guy. Like, he's I don't know how he had sacred knowledge of past events that nobody else ever knew, that were written decades after the birth of Christianity and hundreds of years after Judaism. But apparently John of Patmos he just kind of knew. He just kind of wrote it down because he had some visions. So, and people with visions are never wrong. So yeah, very weird stuff.
When Jesus bowed in the Garden of Gethsemane, he looked up in the night sky and saw stars, precisely 50 of them arranged in a
Right.
rectangle and bound by white and red stripes.
Hell yeah.
America.
Yeah, what's all this
So
Europe
why did
stuff?
it
Let's
begin?
talk about America.
Well, let's ask ourselves, why did World War I begin? Well, Gavrilo Princip shot the Archduke, right? Well, yes, but it goes deeper. People didn't want to be ruled over, especially by outsiders. Why should Bosnians or Serbs be ruled by Austrians and Hungarians? And why should Austrians and Hungarians presume to want to rule over Bosnians and Croats and Serbs and Romanians and Czechs? Now we can understand a little better why war began in heaven. Long ago, Satan said in his heart, I will be like the Most High. That's Isaiah 14:14. A desire to sit in God's place. At once, a refusal to submit to just leadership and a desire to set himself up as a ruler over others. Before long, Satan had deceived a third of the angels in heaven. You see that in Revelation 12, verse 4. And he came to the earth to get the worship he wasn't able to get in heaven. But peace doesn't come following a war unless someone is willing to do something decisive. The Great War didn't end war because it couldn't fix the broken human heart.
So, did anybody catch the lesson that they took there from the beginning of World War One?
Yeah, so liberation against foreign bodies is bad, actually. And it's because of the human heart, because Satan wanted something. I don't know why that means humans want bad things, I guess. Also, was the Great War supposed to end all wars? Was that the set out purpose? I don't think it was. I don't know if anybody ever said that.
People did
But
call it the war to end all wars at some point, but
yeah,
that wasn't necessarily the goal. It was
yeah.
just
Very wow, what the fuck? Like,
I just love this is a really weird connection to make. Like, why would you say this? He basically says a lot of nations who are being oppressed and ruled by other people wanted their independence. These people wanted self-governance in the same way Satan wanted to be independent of God. Like, that's a very strange connection to make in my mind.
guys, the reason why the Boston Tea Party happened is because, Satan wanted independence from God. And so, it really was the Americans' fault for, not following British royalty and paying taxes on wars that they didn't feel represented in. So America's really fucked. We shouldn't be here, I think. I think that tracks, right?
That's a really good point. That's literally the same thing. But
I think so.
he wouldn't go there, obviously. And in our case, the people who lived over here were actually British subjects. They came from England. It wasn't like another ethnic people group was being ruled over. But I guess it's easier to throw Bosnians and Croats and Serbs under the bus and say they should be ruled, or else they're like Satan.
This guy wrote all this because you do your writing ahead of time before you go to places to film. He wrote all this and thought, man, this is good enough for us to take a flight somewhere and record this in another country. Like, yeah, this makes enough sense. Like, what? This is just bad. I don't know. Like, it's hard to follow. Normally, even if I was a Christian, I feel like I'd have a tough time with like what's trying to be presented here as the argument, I guess.
Well, do you think the intended audience of this is one that really follows the narrative flow of something like this and comprehends it? Or do you think they're just like, ooh, that sounds like smart history, and now there's a moral lesson?
Yeah, it's very didactic. Is didactic what I'm looking for? Yeah, it's top down, sort of teaching here, like moral teaching. I don't know. That's I think that this is history for people who've never read a history book, I think.
I would say, and this comes from a background going to a church where, like, going to churches where pastors like to impress the uneducated among their congregation. You talk about anything that sounds vaguely intellectual and people just, It traces back to back in the days before there was a lot of media or TV or anything. The pastor was the smartest person you were going to ever listen to talk. So if he said any kind of bullshit about history or whatever, or you're going to think he's a genius and accept his connections to moral teaching or whatever.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't mention anarchists, because I'm pretty sure like the dude that shot Franz Ferdinand was like definitely a part of that anarchist movement and stuff. Usually Christians
Yeah.
don't like that, but he didn't bring that up. That's very
Yeah, I think
very
the Black
weird.
Hand were anarchists.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. Let's continue.
I like how it's not just America. According to the Bible, Hebrews left Egypt because they wanted self-rule. So,
Yeah, it's true. Like, okay, if you ever want independence from a governing body ever, you're wrong, I guess, because Satan. Like, it's
and not
because of
on,
Satan.
and you're not just wrong because Satan. You're like being exactly like Satan. Like
Exactly.
that's
Yeah, the
how
guy who shot
hierarchical
Franz
it is.
Ferdinand is literally Satan.
That's how hierarchical this whole thing is.
Yeah.
Like if somebody's over you, it's as right as God being over Satan. It doesn't matter how they got there or how they treat you. Anyway, so he talks more about Bosnia and continuing horrors and war crimes and stuff. I'm going to skip over some of that, and we'll get to the stuff about the war in heaven.
During the siege of Sarajevo, dangerous, dangerous place. Planet Earth is currently under siege. According to the Bible, we're all involved in a war. And it's serious.
War for our
It's
mind.
That verse we looked at a moment ago, Revelation 12:7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, verse 8, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And now verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. The focus of the war in heaven has become the war here on earth, and we see its effects everywhere. Sin entered the world when Adam and Eve yielded to the temptations of Satan. And sin brought death and pain and sorrow and injustice and cruelty and war and ethnic cleansing.
Okay, I like how I paused it right on the free offer.
Yeah.
Little chevron there. Okay, so here's a question I have for you, Zod, because when I was a kid, I was like curious about all this stuff, and somebody told me once, one of the differences between humans and angels is that angels don't have free will. That's what makes humans so special, is that we have free will and we can choose to rebel against God. But Satan clearly had angels, or is going to have angels. It's unclear when the narrative is there. So like, seems like angels can just kind of fuck around too. Like they can just kind of do what they want. So what is your take on the angel situation? Are these just like beings that are just hanging out in heaven and then they just get bored and they don't like hanging out with God? Like what's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know and I don't care. It's all
Okay.
totally inconsistent. The Bible says very little about angels other than for the most part they're messengers, and then from time to time there's,
And they
allusions
rape
I think to
people
them
from
being
time to-
warriors or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a very vague loose mythology actually within the text of scripture. And in
Somebody's
Go ahead.
saying here, the apologetic is that angels lost their free will after Satan's fall. I've never heard that before, actually. If that's what people say, that is hilarious. Very funny. But yes, please continue, Zod.
Yeah, no more free will for you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Like humans fell. Did he take away our free will after Adam and Eve sinned?
What's the point of
Like-
the free will if you're just going to take it away?
Yeah.
It really negates some things here.
So yeah, one thing that strikes me about this is as we rewatch it is there's all these complex issues that go on in the world today. Cruelty, war, all these war crimes and stuff like that. It's really important to dig to the bottom, and find out why that happens, right? And try to make sure they don't.
Yes.
But when you're this type of Christian, you see it all as ultimately stemming from an act of disobedience. And
Right.
so something that should be really about digging to the bottom of humans' rights and autonomy and all that stuff all becomes tied to a narrative about obedience to the authority. It's probably
Yeah,
not
like,
great.
which is weird because there are Christian, like Thomas Aquinas very famously wrote about just wars, for example, like
Yeah.
wars that were morally justified and could be through like a Christian perspective and stuff. And there's like some conversation to be had there about that, right? Like obviously people have written whole books about it. It's just like, nope, the reason why we do this is because we're all sinners and that's it. We got to stop being sinners. That's the only way we're going to find world peace, which is just like, yeah, okay, literally everybody that's ever had an ideology has said that. Like all communists have said, oh, if only everybody felt the same way, then communism will be a thing. Or if only, and that's not knocking communists. I'm saying like anybody that's ever had that thought about, gee, if only everybody thought the same way I do, then all world conflicts would be ended. Like, yeah, that's just very, I don't know, just very silly.
Yeah. That's where obviously throwing a religion, especially authoritarian religion, into the mix probably is going to be helpful.
Yeah.
And we'll see that when he talks more about the religions that were involved in all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so it goes. In God is life. Separated from God, there is no life. And because God has given everybody freedom of choice, it's up to each
Until they
person
sin.
to decide individually
Right.
what side he or she wishes to be on. But in a war, you can choose to be on the right side and still get wounded. Imagine being here in Sarajevo during the war and having to duck down or hide as you move about from place to place to make yourself less of a target for a sniper.
So it sounds like he's describing an American public school, right?
Oh shit. Damn. Zod's coming in with the hot takes on gun control in America. Yo. Spit it, Zod. Spit it.
That's just what I heard when I heard him say that.
I wish I could imagine myself as, hiding from the snipers in Sarajevo, but you haven't taught me about it yet. You're supposed to teach me what happened in the events here, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know whose forces are where or what's happening.
So Dan,
Mm-hmm.
snipers appear in windows and you have to duck
Yeah,
because you sinned
correct.
and you're being disobedient,
Your sinful nature.
and that brought sin into the world.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, at this point, I think he's saying you can even be a good guy and all that happens. So yeah.
He's saying all war is because I'm still hung up on that. He basically said all war happens because of Satan. Like he literally pinned it on Satan, right? In the sin nature, I guess. That's weird. That's theologically even that's kind of weird. I feel like most people don't say that, but
Yeah, all wars trace back to Satan, which is not a helpful thing. And then it's because Satan wanted autonomy, just as people today want autonomy, which is like way less than helpful. And now he's saying that basically he's explaining the randomness of war. So whether you're good or bad, you could end up being in danger. And this is just like the most basic, I don't know, the basic, most flat, weird religious advice. And the fact that he's like just dressing it up in historical context doesn't make it any more meaningful.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. Let's keep watching.
Because being on the right side doesn't guarantee your safety. During World War I, German U-boats sank the Lusitania, a passenger ship with almost 2,000 people on board. 1,200 died. The Germans said that because she was carrying hundreds of tons of munitions, she was a legitimate target. The people on the ship thought they were safe and wouldn't be targeted. They were innocent. But during war, innocent people often suffer. And that's why people suffer today. Innocent people, a child, a follower of Jesus. People suffer because there's a spiritual war raging.
Okay, first, I love the way he's framed in that picture. It looks so weird. But
yeah, it is kind of weird. It almost looks like there's a green screen happening with some of these. But like he's like keyed differently. Like his lighting is different from the environment, right? Is that just me?
I don't know. I think he's on location.
Well, I think so too, but it almost feels like they filmed this location and then they just like superimposed him in there. Like that's what it almost looks like to me.
It
But
could be. I'm not sure. But I think I don't know. He just keeps saying these weird little things that bug me. Like, so the people on the ship were innocent and they were on the right side. So, like in World War I, were the British and the Americans the right side, and the Germans were the bad guys? I don't know if that was as clear in World War I. And he says innocent people. To me, this sounds a little insidious. Innocent people like children or a follower of Jesus. So, like, if a follower of Jesus dies in a war, that's like sadder and more innocent than if a non-Christian dies in a war.
that's a good
I
point.
find that a little disturbing.
I think the purpose here is he's trying to answer the problem of evil, right? Like he's trying to say answer a very basic thing that even the most basic of not even non-Christians, but just like the general populace has, which is why do good people suffer? It's like, well, because we're in a war, I guess. But like they don't have to suffer. Like God has clearly chosen for some people to suffer and some people to not suffer. Like God has explicitly protected certain people. So like it just kind of doesn't work. Because like if God can do that, then there is a choice that's being made there of whether he chooses to or chooses not to with certain people. And it just kind of falls apart. It just doesn't make sense. It's not consistent.
Well, also, if I were in a room full of like young children, like toddlers, and some of them started harming and killing other toddlers, and I just said, well, I'm in war, what can I do?
Right.
Like they'd say, no, you're the biggest person in the room. You're an adult. Stop this. How much more could God stop all this stuff from happening?
Yeah, exactly.
Not to mention, when you really dig into it, he set all of it into motion and basically at the point of creation decided all that death would happen. That's a whole other thing. But anyway, I think he is addressing all these little things, but it's in such a meandering, zigzagging, mushy way. I think we're kind of putting more structure to this than really exists.
Probably. Yeah, let's
Ready?
keep it going.
And there's an enemy looking to cause casualties. The Bible says in 1 Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Now that's serious. There's an enemy who's actively looking to take lives.
Also, okay, the war, people dying, like innocent people dying, it implies that both sides commit atrocities. Are we saying in this spiritual war that there are Christians who are spiritually murdering innocent civilians in a way? Like, does that ever come up, or it's just one-sided? Because it's not really. That's a little different.
There's going to be an interesting twist on that idea. We just have to wait until we get there.
Okay. All right. We should keep going.
He's trying to ruin, well, you and me. So what are you doing proactively to keep yourself safe in this war? What are you doing intentionally to safeguard your soul? How can a person be safe? What can you do to make sure you experience victory in this war? Let's talk about that in just a moment.
Oh no, are we doing more ads? No.
So you are constantly in danger. You're ducking behind things, trying to hide from snipers. What can you do? How can you save your soul? We'll get back to that later after these ads.
Yeah. Also, again, like, okay, can we be safe? Because it sounds like innocent people die unintentionally. So, like, there's a chance that we may not be spiritually safe. It just doesn't make sense. It's just sloppy. I just don't get it. I can't believe this is real, but here we are.
Yep. So after telling you you're in danger, what can you do? Let's look for signs that he actually gets back to an answer, or does he just drift off into ads and then never go back to that important question?
Thank you for remembering that It Is Written exists because of the kindness of people just like you. To support this international life-changing ministry, please call us now at 800-253-3.
Wait.
Please.
Yeah.
I love that they show some dude from their organization trying to get old people to sign papers, apparently to give donations to
Yeah,
this thing.
yeah. This dude looks like Dave Ramsey. Why is Dave Ramsey asking for donations in these people's homes? What's going on?
That is not a good look. Like showing some really elderly couple signing papers.
That's
you
the
know, like,
target
just-
demo, though. They're trying to make it. Think the audience is them. I don't know.
People
Man.
just like you. To support this international life-changing ministry, please call us now at 800-253-3000. You can send your tax-deductible gift to the address on your screen, or you can visit us online at itiswritten.com. Thank you for your prayers and for your financial
support. Hold on, wait. Can we go back a second? What's that guy said here? What is this? Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm going back. What is it? What is that? Is that Monopoly? Is he an architect? He's like, it's got to be.
Yeah,
like
it looks like a mock-up. It looks like a mock-up of a landscape with buildings
I
on
was
it or something.
busy at my job designing buildings for the city, but I thought I'd donate to this ministry. Was he watching videos at work? What's happening here? Is this his home office? It's just very nice. That's weird.
He's browsing itiswritten.com.
Just a casual day
They
off.
they probably just Googled stock photos of a person using a computer.
Yeah, I guess that's what that is. This is a very weird. There's a lot of footage, and that's what you chose, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
iswritten.com. Thank you for your prayers and for your financial support. Our number again is 800-253-3000. Or you could visit us online at itiswritten.com.
So another ad, basically. This is apparently where they're how they're paying for all these free videos and conferences.
Yeah.
They're just hitting you up every chance they get.
Amazing.
By the way, we have one more clip. We won't get all the way through it, but we'll just like carry it as far as we can to the end until we feel like we're done. I just want to point out, I thought we were going to cover it, but I didn't catch it in a clip. He literally, this is a literal quote from his presentation. The horrors of the Bosnian War were horrible.
The horrors of the war were horrible. That's awesome. Man, you can tell he really wrote this himself. You know?
Yeah.
I wish we got an interview from a historian or something to tell us like some real stuff. He's just reading Wikipedia facts about, ships that got bombed by U bombers. That's just, oh man, this is sad.
Or if this were more recent, I would think he went to a chatbot and said, "Tell me about history and Jesus." That's how random this all feels.
But tell me about history, Jesus. Hey, ChatGPT, tell me about the history of the Bosnian War for suckers that are watching evangelical tapes. How would you type it? And that's what ChatGPT would come up with for sure.
So anyway, I'm going to skip. We have one more clip. Before that, I'm going to skip a part where he just talks more about the horrors of the Bosnian War and World War I and all that stuff.
All right.
And we'll get to some more weird commentary to wrap this up.
About 50 miles in a straight line from here is the town of Mostar. Mostar is famous for its old bridge, the Stari Most. Except the old bridge in Mostar today isn't old, it's really very new. The original was completed in 1576 or thereabouts, and it stood for 427 years, until it was destroyed by Croat forces in the Bosnian War. Now, the bridge wasn't of any strategic importance at all, so it seems the destruction of the bridge was simply an attempt to wipe out traces of Bosnian culture.
Okay, Zod, this is bothering me. You and I, we're not professionals, but we know a thing or two about making videos. This is a green screen, right? There's no way they got light. It doesn't match that outdoor lighting at all. That's like sunset or early morning. This is so weird.
Unless they just have some artificial lights, but a lot of this does seem very, he does have a very uniform lighting through a lot of these shots.
There's no way. I think he's tricking people. I mean, that first shot was maybe real. I'd have to go back to it. It kind of looked like it, I guess. But like, he's not actually at these places, I think. I don't know. It doesn't seem right. There's something weird.
I think a lot of this is they just have studio lighting that they're bringing along with them. There are parts where he was clearly catching light from his environment and making shadows around him and stuff like that. So it could be a mix of green screen and real footage. I'm not sure.
I get people have portable lights. Like I understand you light up sets and stuff that you're at, but like there's something that's really like even if you have portable lights, you're still gonna have the natural light, affect things. It just doesn't look like
Yeah.
he's affected by it at all. I don't know. That's very weird. Very strange.
Now, keep
So
this in mind about the
are you
Bosnian.
basically saying that your mind isn't noticing anything wrong, but your brain is?
I think so. Yeah, sure. I think that's a good Christianese way of putting it. In
Wait, you
some
know what that
ways.
is, right? I'm
No,
disappointed if you don't know.
I don't know what that is. Was that a
Wait,
reference?
your mind didn't notice, but your brain did.
Is that like the spirit is willing, but the
That's
flesh is
Mr.
weak?
That's Mr. Plinkett. That's one of Mr. Plinkett's
Oh,
most famous phrases. I am
I
super
remember
disappointed
that.
in you.
Oh man, dude, those videos are like 15 years old now. It's
But
been a
that doesn't mean you
while.
can't watch them over and
It's
over
been a
again
while
now.
since I've seen a good Plinkett. Okay. Anyway,
Okay,
sorry
okay.
guys. I'm a fake fan. Apparently. All right.
War. Bosnia is a majority Muslim country. The Croats are largely Catholic, while the Serbians are basically Orthodox, which is pretty much Catholic.
Yeah. You told me about that line. You told me about that. Yes, this audience is so dumb. They don't know what Orthodox is. So they have to like clarify. Oh, it's basically Catholic. Don't worry. Like
That is like the most evangelical ignorant thing I've ever heard.
yeah, go to an Orthodox church and say, "Oh, you guys are basically Catholic, right?" Like, yeah,
They're
I'm
one
sure
of
they
those
love
highly
that.
decorative. They're one of those highly decorative churches from way out east where it's fake Christianity and everyone wears robes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
I mean, to be fair, like the Orthodox Church is probably closer to Catholicism than like evangelical Christianity, but like, I don't know if you can say that's really the same. That is a
If you think they're the same, it's because you're sitting in a very tight bubble of specific evangelical
yeah,
Christianity, and from your perspective, they might be the same, but that just shows how
yeah.
shallow and specific your categorization of Christianity isn't.
You've never met an Orthodox Christian in your life, I guess, is what that
Yeah.
means. Very funny.
That'd be
while
like
this war-
somebody. That'd be like like a Buddhist or somebody over from some Far Eastern religion saying, "Well, they were Christian, which is basically Muslim, or
Yeah, which is
they were."
yeah. Cut from the same cloth, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead and play.
was about territory, it was also about religion. The new bridge was completed in 2004. No, it's not the original, but it is still regarded today as one of the most iconic bridges in all of the world. Now, speaking of destroyed, in 1984, Sarajevo was the host city for the 14th Winter Olympics.
Where are we going? What's happening? Speaking of destroyed, here's the Olympics. What the? Oh, I guess we're talking about the Olympics. Okay,
The bobsleigh track hasn't been used.
But like, number one, it's a weird. This guy is so all over the place. Like he just like he's like he has ADD or something like that. Oh, a squirrel. Oh, shiny. Like, speaking of destroyed, here's a bobsled. It's like he went around and like went specific places and talked about certain landmarks, and he's trying to tie them all together with the weakest transitions he possibly can.
Yeah, speaking of destroyed is such a weird way to again, like he did not have anybody edit this for him. I think he was like, no, this is perfect the way it is, and we're just gonna roll with it. Like this is just not super cohesive or coherent. I'm surprised someone was able to even edit this together.
Well,
It's very weird.
and he segues from a bridge that was like destroyed in the sense that somebody blew it up, and says, speaking of destroyed, and went to this bobsled track that was like never destroyed in any similar sense. It just decayed because it wasn't used.
Right.
Like, what is he even talking about?
It's very weird. Wait, I need to point out this comment. Somebody
Oh,
said,
go ahead.
I legit wondered if Zod was Plinkett when I first saw his videos because he used the same cadence. That's awesome. That's great.
I got that comparison more times than you'd think back when I would like read my scripts instead of just talking. Yeah.
I can see it. Oh man, that's really funny. I love that for you, Zod.
Years. It was left to go to ruin. Really, a fitting symbol for what happened to the city of Sarajevo. The other Olympic Games facilities were either neglected or destroyed in the war. A war that came to Bosnia just 8 years after the Olympic Games. The Bosnian War has pretty well been forgotten by the world. And it's a lot like that with the Great War. Here's what we know. An angel named Lucifer rebelled in heaven.
What the? Where are we going? What the? We just went from World War One, like, to the Bosnian War, and the Olympics stuff being destroyed, and now we're going back in time to when Satan is ruling from God in like 2 minutes. What is happening?
Yeah, literally the train of thought was a horrible war in Sarajevo, a bridge was destroyed. There were the extent of his commentary about the religions. The extent of his commentary about religions was that there were Muslims, Catholics, and Orthodox, and that, two of those were the same thing. And then we go from there to, speaking of destruction, Olympic facilities decayed. But we've forgotten about this war. And now, speaking of wars, people forgot we're back to the whole devil rebelling thing. And he's gone back to this exact thing about Satan rebelling how many times now? And what does that have to do? I don't know. It's weird.
I do like, we're in space and there's a man with a hoodie on, and I am curious about what's about to happen. I think he's about to quote the Bible, but
it's Mr. Robot.
It's Mr. Robot. Yeah, yeah, you're right. That'd be really funny.
That's basically his stock image he uses whenever he talks about the devil. Go ahead.
Happy with his place, he wanted worship. Cast out of heaven, he came to the newly created earth and led Adam and Eve into sin. God then had a rogue planet on his hands. What would he do? John 3:16 says that
God had a rogue planet. What is this, Star Wars? What's happening here? He couldn't control it under the Empire, so the new rebellion came up. Oh man, it's really funny.
Yeah, like in Christian theology, we're just like, we're not literally considered the center of the universe anymore, but this is basically where it's all at, right? Like,
yeah.
The way he describes it, it's like God has this empire and we're this one little pocket that went rogue on him.
Yeah. By 2 people, by the way, literally 2 humans on Earth make it a rogue planet, which is awesome. What a description. Oops. Oh no, I accidentally clicked way back in the video instead of
Daniel.
I know.
Oh, that was about the right place, right? That one spot.
Hoodie man, go forward a little bit.
Out of heaven, he came to the newly created earth.
One thing I just wanted to bring up is just how, even by Christian standards, just how completely empty all these commentaries are. Like, all he's doing is meandering his way through all these world events. And even by the standards of Christian teaching, all he keeps doing is remember that Satan rebelled. Remember that Satan rebelled.
That's true.
John
He hasn't said anything new, really.
Even if I were a Christian, I would think this was just totally hollow nonsense. Like, there's nothing meaty at all. Even if you think that the Bible and Christian teaching are good, like, he's just this war, this horror, that thing, pirates, and it always just traces back to these really basic allusions to the most simple things about the story of the Bible.
He keeps going back to this fantasy war that never happened, and like, it's just like the next verse. Like, it's not even like super consequential, I wish it would make more sense. At least my brain would be able to understand what's happening if he just told that whole story in full, maybe. But like, he's splitting it up and then goes back, and then it's really weird. I just don't understand this.
Adam and Eve into sin. God then had a rogue planet on his hands. What would he do? John 3:16 says that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes.
4,000 years later, for some reason. He could have just done it right then. I don't know why he didn't do it with Adam and Eve, and then everybody could be saved by Jesus. But I guess not the Canaanites, or the Egyptians or the Aborigines or the Aztecs or the
You have to
Korean
go
people
to
of the
the
Korean
you have,
Peninsula. I don't
you
know.
have to go to the conference for one full speech
Yeah, you got to pay a quarter for an extra
for
2 minutes.
anything coherent for him to actually stop and dig in on anything. But this makes me curious about the conference, though. I imagine it has to just be more. They might be a little more extended, and each one have a theme, but it's got to be more just wandering through empty stuff like this just to get you to more paywalls or more chances to donate or get
Yeah,
another free video or link or something.
I imagine there's literature, right? They said there's study materials, so maybe. I don't know.
Believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. When the planet rebelled and sin entered the world, God could have simply decided he was done with it.
And David Hepworth says, you don't understand dispensationalism, Dan. Jesus' death in the future supposedly paid for all the sins of the past before Jesus died on the cross. I'm aware. That is the theology I grew up with. It still doesn't make sense. It's still weird. Like, how does that work? I don't know. What, like, again, if you've never heard of Jesus, how do you first of all understand like what he wants for your life, and how you get to be determined whether you get to go to heaven or not, if you don't even have any semblance of like the Holy Spirit? It really just doesn't make sense. I don't know, but as
Yeah,
Christian,
even if in theory his death paid for all the people who came before as well as after, you still have to like know that he died and acknowledge it and accept the gift, right? So how
right,
was somebody before Jesus ever even existed, or there was any story about him? How are you going to accept Jesus before he came down and died on the cross? It doesn't even make any
right.
sense.
And if you're just saying, oh well, they're just we either good people or bad people, okay, well that's separate from Jesus then. Like that's literally secular morality at that point because they lived according to their own understanding of right and wrong.
Yeah.
So sounds like you don't need it. It's very, very weird, bizarre.
But he didn't. Couple of reasons why. One, the angels didn't understand all the issues. If God destroyed Lucifer when rebellion occurred, heaven would then have been filled with fear and not love. The
Whoa! Wait, hold on. Wait a minute.
universe
What?
would have been plunged into disarray and confusion.
Yo, wait, whoa! Hold up. He's just gonna drop that bombshell on what the what? Run that back for me, homie. What is that? What? There's gonna be fear in heaven, and that's
Couple of
why?
reasons why. One, the angels didn't understand all the issues.
How the fuck do you know that? How do you know the political literacy of fucking angels, John? What the fuck? Did you do your sociology thesis on fucking angel culture? How the fuck do you know?
I love how mad this is
What
making you.
the fuck? That's the stupidest fucking shit. This is a grown ass man saying, yeah, the angels would have been scared. That's why God didn't do it. Instead, he had a war with a fucking dragon. Instead, yeah, okay, that makes fucking sense. What the fuck is? What the? I I can't. What is happening? Oh my god.
Well, that's like, I don't know. Number one, I love that he's painting this picture of a bunch of just totally confused angels who have no clue what's going on. And so if God even punishes something, they'll just be confused because they don't know what's going on and they'll be filled with fear. But also, you don't punish someone because it's going to create an atmosphere of fear. So like in the United States, should we not enforce laws? Because if we throw someone in prison, it's going to just create an atmosphere of fear. It's
There's a lot of like okay, and God destroys Satan anyway. So I don't know. Yeah. Oh, it wasn't the right timing for political reasons. God didn't. God literally didn't destroy Satan for political. What is he afraid of? He's God. What is there going to be more angel rebellions afterwards? What is going on? What they should have made it. You know how like when the angels come down, they said, "Be not afraid." God should have sent down a mega angel for the angels and said, "Be not afraid." right? This is ridiculous. What the? That is so awesome that he just decided to make that up. Like he just made that up. There's no biblical basis. There's no extra biblical sources on that. He just made that up. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Now
Very
he's
creative.
the extra biblical source.
That is cool. Props to you, sir.
If God destroyed Lucifer when rebellion occurred, heaven would then have been filled with fear and not love. The universe would have been plunged into disarray and confusion. Beyond that, God had...
Wait, so if you have a super smart, deceptive adversary running around like deceiving and, you know, basically causing confusion, the universe is going to be filled with more disarray and confusion if you let him run around doing his thing versus if you just get rid of him and bring order back. Like,
yeah, I thought the whole point of war was to restore order and stuff, right? Isn't that?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a theme earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, that is
Didn't not that I'm saying this war was a good idea anyway, but like according to this logic, if you think Saddam Hussein was just a really, really bad guy and needed to be gotten rid of, George Bush is going to say, I don't want to go over there and like, you know, overthrow him because that's just going to create.
We can't kill Saddam. That'll be political. That'll be political chaos. We'll never recover from that.
It'll create fear.
It'll create
a plan. Fear. He said, I'll show the world that I'm good. I'll let them see that God is love and offer everyone who wants it the gift of everlasting life. When the saved get to heaven, nobody's going to say, if only God had destroyed Lucifer. Everyone's going to say, we are glad he waited for us.
What does that even mean?
What does that mean? What does that mean, sir? Sir, can you please explain what the fuck that means? Sorry, hey, sorry. News anchor for Channel 3 here. Can you please explain, sir, what the fuck that means? Because I don't know what the fuck that means. Are you saying we don't get to go to heaven unless God destroyed Satan later? What the fuck? What's going on? I'm throwing a lot of F-bombs here because I'm perplexed. I don't have a penchant for what's happening here, Zod. I'm losing my mind right now. This man flew to Sarajevo
to say this.
He took a plane. He paid camera people to spend time so he could say that bullshit. What the fuck?
A bunch of senile old people gave him money so that he could get on a plane and come out here and do this.
Vacation in Eastern Europe, I guess, and go visit abandoned Olympic parks, I guess.
Yeah, the picture this paints in my mind is that we're going to get to heaven and be glad he didn't kill Satan and waited for us. I take that to mean that if he killed Satan, he couldn't do that without pushing a button and nuking us all. And we're just glad that he got us into heaven first and out of the danger zone before he blew Satan up. All I can put that to is that he thinks his audience is. All I can put that to is he thinks his audience is literally thinking nothing about any of this, and that if he just rattles off something that sounds vaguely Christian, they're going to roll with it. Like, I have no clue. It's weird.
That's awesome. This man was like, yeah, we read historical accounts of the diaries of angels, and some of their correspondence at the time. So we have a good understanding of the angels would have caused fear amongst the angel population in heaven. I can't get over that. Yeah. That's my favorite thing ever.
Angelic history isn't a precise field, but if you really delve into the documents, you can get some sense of how they were feeling at the time.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Let's keep going.
And Satan.
Keep hitting play
Satan has been defeated. So when you choose Jesus, you're choosing the side of victory. So whose side would you say you're on today? To be on God's side, it's simple. You just surrender your life to Jesus. You know how it goes in war. Often victory is only decided when somebody decides to surrender. They say, we are not going to fight anymore.
Put down your spray paint can and quit vandalizing.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about the image on screen. Yeah. Listen, you're at a spiritual war right now, Timmy. You need to put the spray can down and go spend some time doing mission work in Africa. Okay. Oh, that's
Do you see
awesome.
yourself in the picture of this person with a beer? Do you see yourself in this picture of a kid who has a spray paint can?
Yeah, in Sarajevo and is gonna spray some profanity probably. Yeah, yeah, that's definitely
The
what I'm
world is being torn apart by teenagers who are spraying graffiti on abandoned old places in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, I'm sorry, he's going buck wild with this war metaphor. Because now I'm on the other side with Satan, and God is fighting me. Like I have to surrender to God, or God's gonna, I don't know, drop the atomic bomb. Like what's happening here? What's the end consequence of this war? I will be destroyed, apparently, and all I can do is surrender. This is not you know, the engagement here is very, very high. There's very high stakes. You know, I'm feeling fear right now. I wish God cared about my fear like he cared about the angel's fear, but it doesn't seem to work that way.
Wait, so yeah, he was afraid. He didn't want to wipe out Satan at the beginning because he caused all the angels to fear.
Yeah.
So when we all go, okay, assuming we were Christians, Dan, you know, we're going to be in the other place, but assuming we die and go up to heaven, would he create fear in everybody up there if he destroyed Satan then? Like
That's yeah. So is the implication that we won't have fear anymore, or the possibility of fear is still available? Because if it's there for the angels, I don't know why we wouldn't be able to experience that.
maybe we know all the issues now.
What's
You know,
stopping
the
another
angels
angel
didn't
rebellion?
understand the issues.
What's stopping another angel rebellion? If it's man's sinful nature, clearly it's not just man, it's also angels. Angels have a sinful nature, right? At least one of them did. I don't know why that one in particular did. It could happen again. There's a lot of implications here.
Fred Harvey, and thank you, by the way, for the super chat. What Yahweh really needed to do was wipe Satan off the board when there were still only Adam and Eve, forgive them and educate them properly thereafter. How weak and incompetent this God seems.
Yeah. He's creating a problem. Like God's creating a problem here, is what it sounds like.
That's literally what, if you ever watch my old God and Jesus cartoons that I made a long time ago, that's literally what the Holy Spirit says as soon as Adam and Eve took the fruit in the earlier videos. Just destroy Satan, teach Adam and Eve what to do right, and don't go hanging yourself from a cross and stuff like that and sending people to hell.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Or let Satan act out on his free will. I don't know why he can't do it. If supposedly we can, what's up with that? It doesn't make sense.
Dan, I think we're close to the bottom of the hour, and I think at this point he's just gonna take this, choose what side you're gonna be on to a salvation message.
Yeah.
So do you want to just cut off here?
No, I want to be saved, Zod. I don't want to be in this war anymore. I got to figure out my options if I'm going to surrender or not. But we'll keep it light. I want to see how this ends.
We find ourselves when we're not surrendered to God, we are fighting against God. We want our will done rather than His. So if it's time to do so,
much like the Bosnian,
do it
the
now.
Austrian Empire.
Raise the white flag and say, "That's it, God. I don't want to fight you anymore. I surrender. I want Jesus to live His life in me. I want you to come into my heart and just take over and let your will be done." And when you do that, when you surrender your life to God, that's when you know the peace of God. And that's when you face a certain future.
Wow.
In Old Testament times, ancient Babylon fell. The book of Revelation says Babylon is going to fall again.
Wait, no, it's the same?
Understand the fall of Babylon in Earth's last days. Receive the fall of Babylon.
It's not the same ad. Are you serious?
So he makes this big heartfelt, and you can come to Jesus and have peace. And and by the way, you can buy our thing about the fall of Babylon. We have a free offer. It's like
it's the exact same ad in the same video. That's so funny. Oh, wow.
Never mind if you're a Christian and you're really that concerned about everyone's salvation and you're like pleading with them to come to Jesus, and then you immediately stop in the middle of it to start telling them they can get a free thing about Babylon if they call in today. Like,
Right.
weird.
At least
All
have
right,
the
you want to
Lord's
watch?
Prayer on screen or something, like
Yeah.
get people going. But no, we're just going straight to the ads. Is the rest of this just an ad now, Zod? Is this all that ad?
I think from here it mostly breaks down into like a final appeals to to salvation and ads and stuff like that. But let me look.
Oh man, I'm scrubbing here, but hey, you scrub through the video. I'll stop clicking on it. You're guiding me on this journey here. I've learned so much. And
Yeah, there's
so much, I mean
another
nothing.
there's another about 2 minutes. I'm just flipping through the transcript. That's mostly about praying to Jesus and coming to peace and salvation messages. You want to watch it real quick?
Dude,
It's up to
I
you.
live for this. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
I want to see it. Well, wait, show me where it's
But
like
if
right here, a little before. Oh, perfect peace. You tell me, Zod. Tell me what the best place.
we were on the Babylon ad, I think.
Right.
We were. Wow, we didn't see all these memes.
No.
There we go.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
I just want to say though, I'll watch this through to the end with you real quick. I don't want to stop for
Okay.
a lot of commentary. But if somebody watching our video gets saved, that is on you.
Yeah, right. We probably did the worst job in conveying what the man who created this hoped would be. We've actively, if anything, we've negatively impacted. Like we've got 78 people right now. We probably unsaved 79 people. Like that's how much like undoing we've done with this video. That's incredible.
It would just be amazing though if someone stood in front of a church and said, I didn't know anything about God, but I was watching this show called Zadanza, and God worked so that the salvation message was presented in full at the end of the video.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Okay,
iiwoffer.com.
Let's pray together now.
Oh, now we
Our Father in heaven, we come to you in the name of Jesus,
Okay, so he does do a
the
little
Prince
prayer.
of Peace.
Okay, I don't know if I
Of
want to see
peace
the
will
prayer
lift
part.
your heart up to
Skip past
God
the
and say,
prayer.
we believe it. We believe that as we reach out to you in Jesus' name, amen.
All right.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm looking forward to seeing you again next time. Until then, remember, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God.
All right. That's it. Executive producer John Bradshaw. They were like, John, the script is perfect. We don't need any fixes. You go do you. Here's $10,000. Get yourself a plane ticket, fancy hotel, get it for the crew. Have fun. Have fun in Bosnia.
So he told them that salvation was super important and then prayed the prayer of salvation with them. But in between, he threw an ad break.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's so funny. Oh my God. He's like, you should find it in your heart and pray about it. And then they played the ad and then they actually do the prayer. That's so awesome. You know what comes first before your salvation? Making sure you understand this free offer we have about the fall of Babylon. That's awesome.
Some
dying and watch that.
Yeah,
and
some
not get
some
saved.
pastors, when they do their altar call, they're like, "You need to come now because we could die at any time."
Yeah.
This guy's like, your salvation's important, but pause for a second while I show my free Babylon tape, and then we'll get to the prayer of salvation if a comet doesn't hit you on the head first.
We got announcements first. We'll get to your salvation. We got announcements. Okay. Yeah.
And by the way, I said that on accident. I know comets don't hit people on the head. That's a whole other thing. But
yeah,
sorry.
Right. Listen, I understand. I volunteer with a nonprofit. I understand. You got to do some announcements. You got to ask for. We solicit donations because, that's how stuff works. But I'm not trying to sell you eternal life or immortality, right? It's I don't know. It's so different. Where it's I have the gift for you that's going to give you everything that you need. You're completely spiritually fulfilled, and you're going to be safe from the bombs and the snipers in Sarajevo, and We're just like guys on the internet, like just like, hey, if you like this, you should donate. Like it's just very different from like, here, donate to us so that we can give this. We need to spread the Zadanza message everywhere. Help us give our ministries out. Don't be like that kid that made graffiti. I don't know. It's just like it's so pretentious. Like he really thought he was doing something here with this. That's incredible.
Yeah. We
Really
casually mentioned that we have a Patreon at the end of this. I don't even think we usually talk about it at the beginning. We're not stopping for breaks like every 5 minutes to like do an extended thing about going to our Patreon and putting the website on screen and all that stuff. And yeah, even though we're not talking about salvation message, if we were in the middle of some heartfelt thing that we thought was important, like just really important advice for living as an atheist in this world or whatever. But before we get to the end of it, let us tell you about your Patreon.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back to the part where you'll actually learn something important.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know. I'd be surprised if one person like became a Christian after watching that. I'll be real. I think this is for people who it's sad, but okay. There's a reason why they target people like this. Because it's people at the end of their life and people are thinking about their mortality and they want to get right with God. And maybe they weren't the best Christian their entire life because they don't know much about it. If they did, they wouldn't be watching bullshit like this. And they want to figure out how to get saved. They want to figure out how, or maybe they will have some existential crisis and they want to be able to solve that, and this is offering that solution. And that's why it's always targeting like a very specific people, also people who have, pension funds and stuff, right? Like it's just like it's not people like me. It's not people like you. It's not like, most of us, but it's that one specific demographic. And it's gross. It's sickening in a way, There's a reason why
Yeah.
there's such a bad stereotype about this kind of thing. And like you can see why. It's just nonsense.
Yeah, this literally is not meant for anybody who's unsaved. This is they have to know that an average person is not going to watch this, find it compelling, and get to the 30th minute of the video and get saved. This is all performative for people who already believe, and they want existing believers who are going to be likely donors to see them doing a salvation message and to feel like there's something important, so they'll keep giving to the cause. That's the way I take it
Yeah.
anyway.
I don't even think it's just people that believe. I think it's people who are genuinely like struggling or who are trying to find information or who are trying to like learn more about this religion that they're trying to get into because they haven't been, solid Christians most of their life and they're trying to like make up for something. Like it's almost it's very sinister. It's like, when you have such a specific target here, because I think of the language he's using in all of this, right? It's like, do you see yourself in this? And they show a guy, drinking alcohol and stuff, right? It's like it's straight up guilt tripping people, just guilt tripping people to, hey, it's a, you want to become a Christian, and what a good Christian does is help with the ministry, right? Because we're all about the gospel, so you should help us. Like that's the implication, that's the through line. They may not say that out loud, but like that's why these products exist.
Yeah. It reminds me of when Ray Comfort would sell these little packs of like scripture things to hand out for Halloween. I don't think he thinks that anybody is ever going to get those and get saved, but he's selling Christians on the idea that it's doing something useful. His target audience is the people who are distributing them. And I feel like this is something similar to that. But
Yeah.
anyway, any other final thoughts?
Yeah, I want to talk to John. I want to talk to Mr. Bradshaw. I'd like to have a conversation with him. I'd say, Mr. Bradshaw, I'm writing this letter to you. You're a great historian. You're a great storyteller. I mean, David Attenborough should be taking notes from you, honestly. What were your sources for the conflict of the angels? I really want to know about this. I really want to know how you fucking knew. You're so prescient. I mean, you really had you had a penchant about this, and I just wanted to capture, like, what scholarship did you, did you confirm with to know, have such great insight? I really want to know. Can you please show me that? That's all I want to know. I want to write him a letter and just tell him that. That's it. So that's my
Sounds good. All right. And for the closing thought, by the way, thank you everybody for watching. We do have a Patreon. If you feel like, joining,
Yes.
do that. If you want to send us just weird garbage or like something, or not garbage, like don't like poop in a bag and send it to me or whatever.
Yeah, please don't do
But
that.
we have had some people sending us some stuff that we're going to talk about on the show. I can't wait to show you a couple of them coming up here. But if there's anything like that, that's a fun way you could participate. And yes, by the way, I did shut off ads for the live run of this because I know that I didn't realize that they played when you were live. So I know that can be annoying. So I shut those off. We will turn them on though when this is open for replay. But I didn't want that to like be in the way of people having the actual live experience.
Yeah.
And that said, I think my closing thought for tonight is the horrors of the Bosnian War were horrible.
That's pretty good. That was pretty good. Mine was, you can't destroy us or else you'll cause fear. So both of those are good. Thank you to everyone who watched live tonight. Thank you for everyone who subscribed. Leave a comment below talking about your favorite part. And I think that's going to be it for this episode of Sedanza. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata. Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata. La casa del merengue, la y la casa de la bachata.